We're a few seconds away from the opening, and with all that we have on pre-open, it shows that 22,500 will be breached on the Nifty at the open itself. That'll be a historic moment because yesterday the high was 22,497, a record high, and 22,500 is here as we open. The Nifty is 22,495. That's the opening. 513. There you have it. 22,519 for the Nifty at the high point, where the mid-cap index is doing better. The Nifty Bank just about in the green. The top gainers on the index, we have the likes of ONGC doing well, Apollo Hospital, a couple of steel companies. The top loser, though, is M&M. Promoters selling some stake out there. ICICI Bank is seeing a wee bit of sell-off after a big day in yesterday's trading session. Some of these oil marketing companies, BPCL, etc., lower too. In the broader markets, there are way more stocks advancing than the number of stocks which are declining. But the ones which are declining are, very specific in nature, belonging to the city gas distribution space itself. IGL down 4%. We have Gujarat Gas down about 1%, but 22,500 on the Nifty.
Okay. By the way, I'm looking at a lot of these steel stocks that are rallying. We've got China's trade data out, and it's better than expectations. I think there's a straight-out play. There's a sentiment rub-off. And metals is a sector of choice today. JSW Steel, Hindalco, Tata Steel, all of them are reacting quite favorably at this point in time. There's a bit of a leg up on Bajaj Auto that's continuing. Some buying on a lever and a State Bank of India. But then after that, it starts getting a bit quiet, really. By the way, HDFC Life, Prashant was just discussing this with Deepa in the fact that surrender value regulations will probably not be as onerous and as hard-hitting as what was earlier feared. That is working well for some of the life insurers. M&M is down, talking about that block where promoters are selling some stake. And then you have the big boys. Big boys are actually just sitting out, maybe already in weekend mode. So Reliance, TCS, Infosys, ICICI Bank, a lot of these stocks are negative. And Prashant, that bank trade that we're speaking of, at least the big one that started yesterday, no sign of that continuing this morning. Very quiet on the Nifty Bank.
No, absolutely. And, we'll see. I mean, that's the thing, right? Lots of false starts is what we've seen with the Nifty Bank. The big underperformer within the underperforming banking sector, which is HDFC Bank, did not fire. I mean, it was flattish to slightly higher. It was ICICI, IndusInd, Kotak, Axis. I mean, those are the ones which actually did well. So let me just quickly run through a few other broader market names here in terms of what they're doing. Let's just look at the two casualties from the last 2 or 3 days, IIFL Finance and JM Finance, and see what's happening there. The names should come up on your screen.
Up 70%.
Yeah, I mean, there is some sort of buoyancy here, right? I mean, so 8% up on IIFL Finance, 400 plus is what we have. Yesterday, of course, we had Prem Vatsa, Fairfax committing sort of, in a way, showing support. So support about $200 million for the IIFL group. Of course, we don't know what shape, form, debt, equity, etc. But that's a strong commitment from a very large investor. And it's an entity which has got investments in all IIFL entities, finance, securities, 5paisa as well. So that's up strongly. JM Finance, if you can have that up, take a look at what's happening there. It is...
flattish, JM Finance.
Okay, it's flattish, not very much, about 1% up. Just a few other names, right, in the broader markets. Let's start with RBL Bank. RBL Bank had sold off day before yesterday sharply. It's got huge volumes. It's up 2.5% right now. Sirma is another one, which is the EMS company. 6% on Sirma. Humongous volumes, 552, third largest volumes right now. Look at Chola Finance, 3% higher, 1,051. And again, I'm just spotting this because it's got large volumes. Surabhi was talking about steel. JSW Steel is up about 2.25%, 2.33%. There is Aavas Financiers, which is up about 3%. I think it's done well recently. Tourism Finance Corporation has been selling off last couple of days. TFCIL, otherwise generally is done very well, is 3% on it. Data Patterns is another name which has done quite well. It's up another 2.5%. There's JSW Energy, which is up about 1.6 as well. IIFL Securities is up about 6.5%, 7%. So that's the other IIFL group company. Paytm is back at 400. I think it had fallen about 380 or so, back at about 400 right now. And then you go down the list, volumes are missing, so I won't, I'll probably wait a little bit. SBFC is down 10%. I'm not sure what the news is, but we had the management with us yesterday. I mean, around the same time. It's a fairly recent listing. It's not done very much since it came to the market. Run by a very veteran, well-respected banker, Asim Dhru. But 9% cut. Look at volumes. 4 crore shares. Almost 5 crore shares traded on SBFC. After M&M, it's the second largest volume traded name that you have. And then the gas distribution companies, Mangalam, IGL is down 3%. And I can't spot MGL as of now, but IGL is coming up with volumes on the downside.
MGL is quite flat. I just want to mention one point on Sirma, since you brought that up. That's a CLSA impact. CLSA likes the stock. They've initiated coverage. Target price they've given it is around, I think, 640 thereabouts. And I think 22% CAGR top-line growth is possible by this company. So that's a brokerage impact.
Well, just a couple of stocks. You spoke about RBL Bank. Yesterday's interesting bulk deal data. They told you that Matthew Syriac, who's, a former Blackstone executive, he bought about 0.5% equity in the large trade that took place in RBL Bank. So maybe that's the reason why the stock is up about 2% The other one that I'm looking at is Jupiter Wagons 2. That was lower in yesterday's trading session, but then they got an award worth nearly 1,000 crores coming in from the railways, and that stock is up around 6%. So those are a bunch of stocks. The market opened about 22,500, sold off a bit, but now still holding up mildly in the green, just below that 22,500 mark. What's good today is the mid-cap end of things. After 4 days of the broader market seeing more decliners than advancers, we have nearly 3 stocks advancing for every 1 stock which is falling today. So 1,500 stocks on the NSE which are gaining for about 450 stocks which are on the red side.
Absolutely. And, we'll sort of track that ratio because it's important, right? A divergence can continue. I mean, large caps can go one way and mid caps and small caps can go other way. And that can continue for a while, but not for very long. So we'll track that. The market is at about 22,478, absolutely flat line.